Have you ever been walking on a beautiful blue sky day when suddenly the clouds lay themselves across the sun like a thick gray-green blanket? Have you ever felt the sudden rush of the wind, whipping and swirling around you, almost lifting you off your feet? Have you ever been surprised by a bright streak of lightning followed by the deep roar of thunder that you can feel all the way down in your stomach? Have you ever heard the rising chorus of raindrops chasing you down the street, slapping you on the back of your neck, washing over you like a waterfall? If you have, then you know me. My name is Storm, and there is no one stronger than me. At my birth, I heard a voice calling me into existence. A voice as gentle and mild as a baby's cry, yet as deep and mighty as the raging, burning sun. The voice called to me and held me close and said to me, "You, my servant Storm, will be my strong arm of change on this earth, for there is no one stronger than you. Oh, the mountains will think themselves stronger than you, but you will blow your winds and send your rains and wear down great mountains to dust. The seas will think themselves stronger than you, but you will dip your hands into their waves and swirl and fold and churn them to foam. And all living creatures will stop, then scatter at your coming. And maybe, just maybe, through your voice, they will hear mine." And so I set about my appointed task, to sail through the days and nights of all time, to pour and snow, gust and blow, thunder and swirl, crack and whirl, leaving the imprint of my handiwork scattered upon the land. I, since then, have heard the voice again from time to time, directing my winds on a hapless ship, sending my rains to replenish a thirsty land. Oh, and once the voice allowed me my greatest joy as I swallowed whole the earth to cleanse its face of a wicked generation. There is no one stronger than me. But there came a time when I had not heard the voice in a very long while. As days passed on into centuries, I found myself hoping to hear the sweet music of that voice just one more time. One day, at the edge of a small inland sea, I saw a band of weary men in a battered fishing boat daring to cross the lake with me so visibly near, and I laughed. Man is such a foolish creature, for his pride makes him forget how fragile he is. But after all, isn't it my job to remind him? I waited for the boat to sail to the middle of the lake. Then I swept up from the south. The winds hit them first, and I saw them jump to their riggings. Each man assigned a specific job. They worked their sailor skills with confidence. But what is confidence against such overwhelming power? I hid the sun in gray-black swirls. Sharp waves began to lift them up and down in valleyed walls of water, and I released a torrent of rain to drench and chill and confuse. The panic began to show in their eyes. They tried to outdistance me by using my own wind against me, but I spun to the east and outflanked their escape. "Bring down the sail!" barked one of the little men, but it was far too late for that. The sail strained, then split, then shredded into a willowy wisp of poor strands fluttering in the howling gale. The waves began to fill the small vessel with water. "Do you see now, little men?" I billowed. "You have been very foolish to challenge me. My master has made me strongest of all, and you you are just tiny things. You are less than nothing compared to my master." "Lightning!" I shouted. "Thunder!" I cried. And the faces of the little men grew gray and slack. Oh, I had not felt so much joy in my work in a very long time. And that is when I saw the man clambering up from some hidden place, pulling himself to a standing position, waving his hands to quiet the whimpering sailors. He turned, and he looked at me. He stood on deck, swaying uneasily, and then he smiled. He smiled at me. Do you mock me, little man? I am Storm. I have plucked ancient trees out of the rocks like weeds. I have toppled the stone towers of man with a whisper. All the pathways of the earth have echoed with my terrible rumbling. His smile grew broader. My anger grew fiercer. It's time for a lesson, little man, I warned. I drew into myself with a long, deep breath the tempest-tossed power of wind and rain and thunderclap. I twisted the elements in a funnel, reaching from the sea to the clouds, screeching and spinning them to a deafening roar, and then I turned to see the fear of death in the tiny man's face, and that is when he spoke. And he spoke with a voice as gentle and mild as a baby's cry, yet as deep and mighty as the raging, burning sun. Peace, he whispered. Be still. How can this be? I thought to myself. What does it mean? But no. It was no time for questions, for contemplation. It was only time to act, for the voice had spoken, the master had commanded, and so I did the only thing that anyone can do if he hears that beautiful song of a voice. I obeyed and spread aside my clouds to make way for the sun.